Hi guys, good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us again for the next webinar. Our speaker this evening is Beverly Craig. Some of you might be familiar with Beverly. She runs Horsepowered Holistics in Glenavy, just outside Lisburn. And just before I get into the discussion with Beverly, there are a few things I need to mention tonight. So the first is Claire McGonigal from Gorderly Social Farm has sent through an invitation for anybody who might be interested in an equine and nature assisted workshop called Be Wild Equine and Nature Assisted Practice Workshop. It's a 2-day experiential learning opportunity led by Claire McGonigal, who's an OT and runs Gorderly Social Farm. We will put the details of that up on our social media and website as well if you're interested. And we'll fire the flyer out with the recording of this as well, so you'll have all the details there. I think it's on the 18th and the 25th of April, and they're full day workshops, so that should be quite interesting if you want to check that out. The second one is to do with, it was actually in each of the trust areas. So there are days for their information days for children with disabilities and additional needs called Stronger Together. And each of the trust areas are running one. And the aim is that they're going to feature stalls from local services and community organisations for families and children to walk around and get a feel for what is available in their trust area. One Equine have a stand at the next three, I believe. So we've got one at Le Mans on the 19th of March, one in Belfast Castle on the 23rd, and one in Ballymena on the 25th. But it's One Equine has taken the stand, but really it's for practitioners as well to kind of come along and explain to parents and children what services they might offer in that particular trust area for children with disabilities and additional needs. We will put, again, the flyers of this up on our social media, and we will send it out as well in a kind of round robin email to everybody within the different trust areas. If you are interested in joining us on the display for that, there's no cost or anything, but there's obviously a time cost to yourselves. So and they're during the week, so it's just to bear that in mind. They run from 9:30 until 3:30 on each of those days. The One Equine stall will be there all day, so if you're a practitioner, you can dip in and dip out if you want to come along and let people know what you have to offer in the trust areas. So if you email info@oneequine.org, then we can get organised in terms of who's available to attend each day. But Aisling will email this round as well, but it's just to get you in the loop. The third thing to mention is that we are going to work on a resource to sit on the website where practitioners will be able to upload any projects that they're doing currently. So it doesn't need to be any One Equine involvement or affiliation or anything like that. It's just if there's projects that you're doing that you would like to share with people, there's going to be a facility on our website in the near future to be able to upload that. So just keep a wee eye out for that. Again, Aisling will email around with more detail on that, but it's just if there's stuff you think you would like to write up or anything like that, and you want to make a start on that, please do, and we'll be in touch as soon as that's available for everybody. Great. So Beverly, we'll get to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's great to see you again. I was out at Beverly's yard last week, her new yard, and it looks lovely. It's really, even on a wet, cold day, it looked impressive. So congratulations. So I met Beverly a long time ago when just after you'd sort of finished your training, I think initially through Andy Ross. And I think he's got a few horses with you now as well, which is great. And Beverly works at Horsepowered Holistics, and mainly it's groundwork, mainly with children. She's produced her own workbooks, equimotional workbooks based around children who have emotional based school avoidance, and it's a really great program. You can work right through and end up with a certificate through the different modules. She's delivering some programs with the Living Well team in West Belfast through Alan Guthrie, which I think Anne Brown was doing delivery on as well. And she's also introduced One Equine to Parent Line, which is an organisation supporting parents throughout Northern Ireland. And they're going to run a conference towards the end of April with an equine assisted element in that. So we'll discuss that in a wee bit more detail later on this evening. But for now, I'll let Beverly take over and introduce herself properly.
All right. Hi. Yes, thank you, Molly, for inviting me to speak. And I have got a few slides. It's not death by PowerPoint, it's literally just to prompt me as to what I'm to be saying. So I'll see if I can manage to share my screen.
Great. Yeah, no, that's working. That's super.
Yeah, so I suppose just say thank you very much for inviting me to talk. I appreciate the opportunity. And yes, I'm Beverly Craig. I own Horsepower Ballistics. So I probably started off in, I think it's 2022. I finished my qualifications. So I qualified with Festina Lente initially, down in Bray. And then I have since gone on to do my equimotional wellbeing coach qualification and also my horsepower reading qualification. I suppose that I came into it through my own mental health struggles. I went for equine psychotherapy with Tanya Watson. I'm not sure if she does it anymore, but I was absolutely blown away by what I was able to achieve personally in that hour, and came away absolutely buzzing about how could I do this. I'd always had horses as teenagers and then had to give it up just for life and uni and kids and all the rest of it. I not really wanted to get back into it, so I think Facebook must have been stalking me, because when I got home that evening, I had this little sponsored advert for Festina Lente equine assisted learning. And I took it as a sign, and I just jumped on and decided to go and study and qualify. So that's kind of how I came into it. I suppose I have my own personal interest now. I have two kids, both have been diagnosed with autism this last year. They're I say kids, they're 13 and 14. And it was all okay until they started secondary school, and then it all just fell apart. So they have emotional based school avoidance, and obviously that's the passion of mine then, is working alongside those kids and working alongside neurodiverse kids as well. So this is my little herd. I say little. On the right hand side is my big horse Mojo. So I bought him from Andrew Ross, intending to ride him. I don't stand to ride him anymore, but he does work alongside me, and he's absolutely brilliant with the kids. He's an ex-racer. Then the top three are Minnie, David, and Rosie. So Minnie I bought from Andrew's aunt, Vicky and Andrew. And then the two little donkeys came as part of the package, and I absolutely love them. I'd never worked with donkeys before, but I couldn't be without them now. Um, then the bottom left was a pony that me and Andrew actually borrowed. When we qualified, we didn't have a pony between us at the time to be able to work with. So a lady who we qualified with lent us her. It turned into a very long-term loan. And it was about my turn to look after her, since Andrew's had her for about the last 3 or 4 years. And then the little pony beside that is Noel, and he is a little rescue. I just call him feral pony. But he kind of came as part of the package with Donny. So entirely blaming Andrew for feeding my addiction of horses.
Excellent.
So I suppose part of the work I'm doing at the minute, which Molly mentioned, was a lot with the West Belfast MDTs and GP federations. So I think, as far as funding, all I really know is that the Department of Health gave a presentation, and then Alan Guthrie, who is the social work lead for West Belfast, was able to secure some of that funding for the wellbeing centres, for the healthy living centres, and also the GP federation. So I've had two healthy living centres this year, well, last year and this year. One is just finishing with me, so we did an empowering women course, and they absolutely loved it. And then the other wellbeing centre chose to send a group of their staff. So they wanted their staff to understand the benefits of equine assisted learning and also be able to allocate then further sessions to suitable groups. The and also personal development and self compassion, because these people are working with quite in quite challenging circumstances and probably don't get a lot of time for self care and to do anything just for themselves. So it was really nice to see them to be able to experience it. And then they sent a further cancer recovery group then as well. So I absolutely loved working with the Healthy Living Centres. They were really good fun and very, um, very different to working with kids, I suppose, as well. But it's, yeah, and I don't think we stopped laughing the whole time.
Brilliant.
Um, so, like I said, my personal circumstances led to collaborate. Well, Molly, I know, has been chatting about Parentline there while I disappeared. So I have been working with Parentline around the emotional based school avoidance and attendance matters strategy. So I got involved with sort of the parent support group. There's three ladies who have been very instrumental in I suppose raising the profile of EBSA and meeting with the department, meeting with the EA. They helped with the conference for Parentline last year, and I have been working alongside them. So we also sit on the Nikki Parent Advisory Group, and I suppose it all started actually a year ago. Mother's Day ran a support group for parents of kids with EBSA. I just felt that in my own journey, it's a very isolating experience. There was a couple of support groups. There's a lot more have been set up this now. Um, but there wasn't really anyone to like talk to or share experiences with or bounce ideas off or just sit among to. So I ran a free support group last March, and from that had kind of gained, I suppose, a bit of traction, and we've continued the work. I suppose on one side it's completely separate because it's around attendance matters and education. But at every meeting I was at, of course, I went on about equine assisted learning until they were sick listening to me. Um, so every meeting I dropped it in there. It doesn't matter who it's with. So the parent and I were really receptive to it, and at one of the meetings I was with, I had suggested that they attended the symposium in Castle Leslie. So the two representatives attended it, and they were absolutely blown away by the spectrum of equine assisted services that there were and how diverse the range it was and how it could help kids and also parents with a whole range of challenges that they may be facing in their life. So basically then we have been working on an event. So they are calling it Thinking Outside the Horse Box. And it's on the 29th of April. They have booked the Loughney Discovery Centre, which is a really nice location. Um, and it's more like a workshop kind of to demonstrate all the different alternative supports that you can have. So there's going to be play therapy, art therapy, Lego, music. I'm not sure what else has managed to get on board, but they really want to have equine assisted services there. So there's a conference room. There's lots of different conference rooms, so there'll be lots of different things set up. And then there's going to be one which is going to be allocated for equine assisted services, and it opens out onto the car park, which I said they can fence off, and there's some green areas that we can access as well. The idea, they're expecting about 100 attendees, so they said that would probably be 50 parents and then 50 sort of professionals, whether it's social workers or teachers, or you can get any politicians there or anybody like that. The idea will be small groups of 6 to 8 people, and they thought because obviously we can do some taster sessions, but we wanted to be able to present different case studies or a couple of case studies and a general overview of what equine assisted services look like. So the idea would be to kind of do a short presentation and then break them out into the groups of 6 or 8 and then do different taster sessions. So I suppose that's where we're really at. We need to find some ponies because mine are very good in their yard, but they wouldn't be so good if they were taken out of that. I know lots of other people do work with the ponies, take them in schools and different things. And I suppose it's a really good chance to work collaboratively, to show exactly what we can all do. And the more practitioners that can be there on the ground on the day, the better, because they can um, just represent themselves as a collective and put forward. Because I think we all do something slightly different. We all have a slightly different need. Um, and there's so much need out there for it, whether it's like children, adults. I have people coming to me from CAMS because it's not working for them. Um, there's just so much need out there, and I think in my experience, even with the EBSA, it's the parents who drive the change. It's the parents' voices that will get us
Yeah.
heard, and will get it put out there to everybody. So I think we just need to decide, I suppose, what sort of taster sessions we're going to be doing and what ponies we can work with, and
Yeah.
that's kind of, I suppose, where we're at. But I'm
Yeah.
very excited.
Well, look, thank you so much, Beverly, for setting this up as well, and getting introducing Parent Line to equine assisted services via Castellazzi. It's brilliant, and thank you also. This series has been based on collaboration, and it's really wonderful to hear, that this is actually, to represent everybody and to be as collaborative as possible, and that collective strength is what will get this, spread to cover the need that you've kind of spoken about there. I guess from our point of view, we'll try to help kind of on the logistical side of things to get round up everybody. If it's probably easier if you're interested in attending and you can attend on the 29th of April, if you can attend just yourself as a practitioner would have an interest in doing a short presentation or being part of a collaborative presentation, please email Aisling at info@oneequine.org. And if you are a practitioner who has horses that you do take out, I know a number of practitioners, some on this call do take horses or donkeys out to the schools. And if that's something you might be interested in doing on that day, please do get in touch with Aisling as well, and we'll work through Beverly then to try and pull something together. It is on the 29th of April, so we've got a little bit of time, but not a lot. So probably the sooner we can get all this organized, the better. Beverly, I think you'd mentioned you were going to maybe try and do some of your art, the
Yes, yeah.
workshop as
So
well.
yeah, I think the parent I'm really keen to do that because I did it with them when they came to visit the yard and they really enjoyed it. They thought it would be a nice thing to take away for the parents that were there, and it's a sort of a little memory of the day. So
Yeah,
whoever is volunteering ponies, I can work with them on that.
amazing. And just on the like to kind of touch base, I guess, around Parent Line itself. So you came through, kind of shared that about personal experience with children with emotional based school avoidance. Do they are they limited to that? Are they looking at all kind of well-being and emotional challenges, opportunities for children in the conference? Is it kind of what's their
It's Yeah, so they really deal with everything. They are
yeah,
part of Children in Northern Ireland, who sort of represent the whole of the children's sector.
yeah,
So they have um, obviously their helpline that you can ring, but they have lots of different resources on there. A big one at the minute is all around sort of those internet access and social media and all of that kind of stuff. They do different workshops. There's a dad talk, so it's kind of for dads, like single dads, and sort of helping them out. So there's a really, really diverse range. Really, anything that you're struggling with as a parent, they will help you with. I think they even do like 6 sessions of sort of one-to-one coaching or counselling to help you with a particular issue that you're having. So yeah, they do lots of sort of different support.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, just then to kind of, I guess, take it back to the work that you're doing on your kind of your day to day. It's quite exciting to see in person and also on screen tonight that you've got a thoroughbred in the mix there as well.
Yeah.
How does he work with your clients? Do you do much with him with the children or mainly with adults, or is he kind of in the mix with everybody?
So he's absolutely brilliant. I love him. He's just a big gentle giant. I mean, he has his moments, obviously, like sometimes when it's windy, he's not the best to be working with.
Yeah, yeah,
But it he's really no, he's really, really good. And I just find it so interesting. I'm sure all the other practitioners have the same experience where they just gravitate towards certain people, and he definitely has. There's a couple of teenagers who come to me, and he just, if that's his person, like he's just there. It's the same with the donkeys actually as well. They have a couple of people that they automatically gravitate towards as well, especially the little anxious donkey. He will really, it's the younger kids, I suppose. I suppose there's no threats. He doesn't feel any threat from them. He's very good with them. But no, I find Mojo is brilliant for picking up. They're so sensitive that you can just really pick up subtleties in behaviors.
yeah,
Actually, this was an example. One of the sessions a couple of weeks ago, it's a teenager who's coming to me, and he, I suppose, struggles with being maybe assertive is the right word. And he doesn't like. He always feels like he's making the horses do something, even though like it might just be putting a head collar and lead rope on and leading them around. So Mojo was actually really acting up whenever he was trying to lead him around, really, really. And because I was thinking, what's going on here? It's not like him. It's not the way he behaves.
yeah,
But as soon as he took the head collar and lead rope off and just allowed him to walk along beside him without any pressure, because his nervous system regulated, he didn't feel like he was making him do anything anymore.
yeah.
Mojo totally regulated, and then they just walked around beautifully. But it was just so interesting. He's brilliant. I love working with him.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. And just I suppose touch on the link with the donkeys there, and Anne Brown's on the call there too. And we're just saying, that the model, that collaborative model with the Living Well centres and through the MDT teams and the GP Federation, there was a programme run up in Coleraine as well through a social worker and an MDT team and the RDA, Christine up there, and they did a program for Otis children, and it worked really well, and the funding model was really strong. And it seems to be talking to Alan Guthrie, who's heading up that program from the GP Federation side of things. He couldn't have spoken more highly about both you and Anne, and that and those programs, and how this neighborhood model is really the way forward in healthcare here, and how this could really be kind of, I suppose, instrumental in that moving forward. And he's maybe hoping to get, some of his team trained up to help in the sessions and stuff like that. And it's quite exciting to hear, because there are 26 of those centres throughout Ireland. But just from your experience, and maybe Anne, if you want to jump in on this as well, did you find, I mean, you'd said you didn't stop laughing through the session. They were really, just really, it seems like a really collaborative, productive way of delivering these services to people who really need them, and quite a cost-effective way as well. How did you find kind of delivering on them to the different groups?
I find it very engaging. It's like everything, when groups or people who are interested in taking part, you read the referral form, but you really don't get a feel for the group until they arrive. And usually from the first session, you know exactly what route you're going to take with the group. And I think when it's like everything, when you meet somebody for the first time and go to a yard for the first time, sort of nerves are sort of quite high, probably on both sides, because from a practitioner point of view, you want to make sure it's a really positive experience and the participants go away with what I think Beverly was saying there, just all biz, you know, and just being so positive. So I find the groups sessions really, really interesting. I learn a lot from them. And that's why, you know, my programs in particular are very much participant led. So I learn a lot about them on their first meeting here. And then we progress further with that. And with the group that you were talking about, Molly, yes, we had so many laughs. I mean, it was just, you know, it was brilliant. And, you know, the donkeys just, you can't teach what the donkeys are teaching them, you know, that sort of way. And it's really quite magical. But when you have people going away laughing and can't wait, you know, until the next session, I think that sort of says it all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, as you say, especially the ones too, like I had a couple, the first wellbeing centre that came, and there was a couple I knew were a bit like, didn't really know if they wanted to be there, wasn't sure what it was all about. And actually the donkey, one of the donkeys stood at the gate, looking out the gate, almost like, right, can we go now? Are we done? And I did ask the question. I was like, is there anybody here that really doesn't feel like they want to be here? And there was two of them were like, yeah, well, we'll be honest, we don't know what this is about, why are we here? But by the end of it, like they didn't want it to end. They absolutely loved it. Totally
Yeah.
changed their mind. And there was another one there. She actually was petrified of horses. Like she was shaking the first day she came in. We started really, really slowly, like with them on the other side of the fence and stuff. And by the end of it, she's petting them all. You think she'd been around horses all her life. It's just incredible the change. And the
Yeah.
confidence they get from it then, they're just like so, as you say, they're buzzing.
Yeah.
And then you're buzzing too, because you know you've
Yeah.
made a difference there, you know,
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
And especially when they come back the second week, you know that what they have experienced the first week has been positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like that's hugely important. And also the idea that this service is supposed to deliver, you know, from that's cradle to grave. I know it sounds quite morbid, but you know, if people are having these interactions either as young people or teenagers, then they can come back to the sessions, which then can be delivered, you know, when they're older or for loneliness or for all sorts of things. So it's wonderful to get these sessions, you know, embedded in this kind of community health model, if you know, so that whatever touch point people are at in their lives, they should and could hopefully access this moving forward. I'm conscious I'm kind of hoarding the conversation here. Does anybody have a question for Beverly? Ashton, can you see, or for anyone else on the call even? Do we have any
There's
questions?
no in the chat just yet. But stick them in the chat, or you can, you know, turn on your microphones, whatever you prefer,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you can ask away.
I think the good thing as well about the wellbeing centres, because it is quite far reaching and it's such a variety, word of mouth again, because those people that come then tell their, you know, their children about it, or they tell their grandparents about it, or they tell their brothers, sisters, nieces, you know, and that's kind
Yeah.
of how then I've ended up with a couple of other sort of people coming, because again, word of mouth.
Yeah. And you know, when they tie it in, you know, when it's got to the point where the organizers of those teams are seeing that their staff would benefit from training in this, or they work with, say, Anne, or I think that been in discussions with Caffrey as well around, you know, horticultural experience and then qualifications, you're opening up a whole other kind of educational pathway and an employment pathway for people too. Really exciting. It opens many doors.
I think in terms of collaboration as well, you think because one of the wellbeing centres do a lot of sort of horticultural work as well. I would quite like to come up over the summer and do a joint project on like a herb garden for the horses. So it wouldn't just be, you know,
yeah, no, definitely. Now, guys, does anyone have any questions? Am I missing? Are we?
We're good.
Good. Okay. Um, so basically then the date, what we need to have hopefully a lot of people contact us in terms of availability for the 29th of April for the Parent Line conference. When we send a recording of this webinar, we will include, well, Aisling will kindly include a link to the Parent Line website as well, so you can take a little look at it and see if you need to explore a wee bit more about what they would what they do. And then if you get in contact with Aisling, just through the info email address, info@oneequine.org, and let her know if you are available to attend. It's on the 19th, the 23rd, or the 25th of March. And then we'll progress it from there through you, Beverly, if that's okay with you. And obviously Beverly will be there on the day too, which is brilliant. So yeah, that'll be uh, and yeah, I think, do we have any other, does anyone get any other questions before we let Beverly go for the evening?
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Sarah. Yeah.
I'm just curious to understand a little bit how that works.
Yeah, so that I don't know if you follow them on Facebook. So it's Harley and so they have put together a qualification that you can do online. Like I love like the thing, and this is my personal opinion. Obviously, everybody else will have their own. I felt that being in supply work and health services and stuff like very science driven. So Christina for me was more scientific. It was very like reviewing it. It was a level 6 PQI down there, and you had your equal practical as well as theoretical and writing assignments. And I feel like it adds another layer where it teaches you about trauma-informed practice and person-centered care, and really linking it all. And I think that, and they're very passionate. They have amazing research as well, which is fantastic. They really have you're doing sessions. Also been really good with me. You can get supervision from them, and be there. It's really good. So actually, part of it's great. Good. For me, so it kind of built upon that.
They have a kind of, keep me right here, Beverly, there's a kind of a module system that goes that certificate and stuff.
Yeah, six goodies on here. Say it's the 8 modules we did, and it's been
Yes, and also Jesus, it seems to be months that like
yeah it's something new. I think, and it is now ACCPH, isn't that right? He moved up forward, I think, which is great.
Super.
the only thing I would find with some participants, though, when you bring out this word, they just freeze. And they're like a bit too cool. They'll kind of it in at the end, so, certain stuff about it, but I don't stick to it. I don't know about you, Beverly, but
So, like, no idea in your head, or popular, I would use it as well. But yeah, I would say I'd be like, right, it's work. They just look at you like, no, we're not. And, it's not happening.
It's not just me then,
Um,
Beverly. That's good.
Brilliant. Does that answer your query okay, Sarah? You good?
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's good to hear about other kind of like videos and handouts, especially working with children, just make it more visual is really helpful. So yeah, no, I'll
They have a
definitely
really
look
nice,
that up.
it's a really nice one I like, and I do use a lot, which is you can get it as like an A. Expressions for different emotions. So they can just point to whichever one they're feeling that day. And I think it's really good. I would use it a lot.
There's different.
I'm just going to say, my cameras doesn't work. I use Equi Emotional as well, and I think too, I'm the same as Beverly. I would decide are like too scary for some people, so I would just like use it and change it a wee bit, as well. So, but the actual content. Do have sales and stuff because I think that they're doing so much stuff. I can already keep up with them, but it's actually good just to get ideas, I think, and then just think I never thought about it. For some love to work, so we get that.
Thanks, Kate. Do we have any other questions? Any other comments or anything this evening?
Molly, I've got a quick question.
Yeah,
I'm
go.
not Brian, actually it's Brona.
Oh,
I'm
Bruna,
just using
sorry, I can't
Brian's.
see your picture's not up on my screen. It just says Brian. Sorry, Bruna.
Don't worry, don't worry, I'm just using his laptop.
Perfect.
My question is that space where all of these ideas could actually be stored and different people could dip in and out and and be able to share exercises, programs. It's same for coaching training for RDA, for example. I see Juliet Fraser there in the call as well. Always wanting to be really good with our kids and all of them shared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that
Bruna.
possible?
It's possible, and it actually is already established. We have a team. It didn't take off the page for everybody at the time. So what we'll do, it's still active and very much there, and that was the entire purpose of it, was just to have a space where practitioners can share questions, resources, whatever. We will, again, the Royal We, Aisling will will send a link to that so to make sure that everybody can still access it.
I didn't realize that was there either.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's we'll make sure I'll activate it and get a link sent around to everybody again. So you can have that, no problem. And then obviously all of the webinars set on our YouTube channel, and then we have on the Ashley has things that sit with each of the webinars as well. They go out in the email, but what we could probably do, Ashley could probably do, put them they're also there for you to access as well. That would be good.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
Obviously, the confidential something sometimes
Yes.
there's somebody that you would often be like, have that support behind you.
it's to have access to it. And so, you know, keep your queries anonymous, and then it also, you know, let's WhatsApp me or whatever, you know, you don't have to have the whole chat on the Teams channel if you don't want to, you know, you can take it on, but it just gives you that chance to say, can somebody help me with this, or has somebody got a resource on this, or whatever. It's there's a kind of a network for you guys, basically.
That's great. Thank you, Molly.
But the only other caveat I guess I would have around that is some of these training organisations may have copyright around some of their stuff, so just bear that in mind if you're trained by. I don't think there's much within the RDA training stuff that we couldn't share, but your organisation maybe. But share courses. What your own ideas are is another thing, but it shouldn't be a problem. But just bear it in mind.
Yeah, there are some really good resources, but Julie, you're right, a lot of them you maybe subscribe to, so we're probably limited in what way we can share them. There's a lot online too, if you look up, like, you know, social skills, and obviously I'm in school, and again, there's lots of very good resources and resources that you know, just share the block. There's a lot of free resources as well, if you just you know, there's one or two sets of resources that are very small subscriptions that I would use in school, but I can use in the EFL work too. If you're looking at templates, or even if you're making resources, you know, maybe printing a visual off, laminating it and putting it on a post box or something for whatever you're doing, you know, so you know, there's some of those that would be quite useful for people, especially if they're probably using more so with children, but you could use them for making props for the arena and that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super. Thanks, Joanne. Brilliant. Well, do we have any other queries or questions or anything? That's great. Beverly, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining and inputting as well this evening. It's been really great to hear from you all. So there are quite a few events actually that we need to put up. So the big one is the Parent Line Conference on the 29th. Then the different trust events. Claire McGonagall's running a 2-day training, the Be Wilds, equine and nature assisted practice at Gordelys. We'll put the details of that up as well. And we will send out the link of the practitioners forum in Teams so that everybody can get access to it who would like access to it, and hopefully the discussions are flying on it. It'd be great to see. Thank you all again for this evening, and hopefully this sunshine is here to stay for a little bit. It makes such a difference. It's quite brilliant. Thanks very much, guys, and thanks, Aisling, again for your support. Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you all. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.